Can I love again? That's a super good question. Let's talk about it. Welcome to the Best Years Podcast. This is Dr. Darlene speaking to Generation X and baby boomers who want more. I'll share power, skills, and tools with you to get your mojo back and love your life. Love. Oh gosh. So just to be honest, I just went through a breakup and in this last year, and it was ever so painful. You know what? I'd rather break my leg than do that again. So I'm talking to myself as well here. And the question is, can I love again? Can you? Definitions of love are many, 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 many. My definition that works super well: love is when you care how someone feels. It's not just you feeling love. Oh, I love that feeling. But do you care about how they feel? I care about how your neighbor feels, but I don't care about how your neighbor feels as much as I care about how my child feels, or my partner, or my dog. Realize that there's in love as well, and you can have sexual in love, or you can have mother in love. I am so in love with my son. And you know what? I am so in love with my dog. I'm an owner of a dog, and I'm so in love with Tink. So there's different types of love and in love, but they all include caring how someone feels. So let's talk about this pain of love that can occur when you break up, or when there's loss through a death or some other type of loss. And let's talk about the vulnerability of being hurt is real. When you open up and you go into that caring how they feel, and you can feel them and they feel you, you're open up to being rejected, abandoned, yeah, betrayed, taking advantage of. Whap! It's horrible. Has this happened to you? I imagine it kind of has, because you're listening to this podcast and you searched out, can I love again, or something about that type of thing. Can you do it? Here's the thing. It's not only brokenhearted, and we hear that a lot. It actually feels like your heart muscle is broken, literally, physically. It's like having not only the heart, but it's like having your cells torn apart, don't you think? In every part of your body, like your wrist is being torn apart, your knee, your bones. It's like a pulling out of who you are. And of course, then most people can't eat, or they overeat, can't sleep. Of course not. Your identity is broken. Who am I without you? Who are you without me? Wait, you can't be without me. And because of this pain, ... the walls come up. I've always heard about that and never really experienced it until this last year, where walls really came up and I shut down. I couldn't love anybody. I couldn't love my dog as much. I didn't love my mom as much. Everything stopped and kind of shut. So does love hurt? No. But breaking out of love does, hell yes. Oh God, I'm not doing that again. I'm afraid to love again. You think? Can I love again after a divorce? Excuse me, or a long-term relationship? Huh. Can you? All right. Let's see what I've come up with. And I do come up with things. I come up with real results. And I'm loving my own advice here. I'm loving it. So get ready. I have 3 key points. Okay, so let's see. If you don't want to love again, does that mean you don't want to care how someone feels again? All right, so let's ask you again. I'm not loving again. Well, that means that you're not going to care how someone feels again. Now, all of a sudden, that doesn't make sense, does it? I'm not going to care how someone feels. Well, okay, that's not going to work for me. So with that in mind, think about it. And what I've decided is in order to love again, we need to start the process logically here, instead of emotionally like you did last time. So the process of loving again is going to start logically in the brain with no feelings at first. So let me explain. Number 1, first thing is know it's normal to be cautious after being hurt. Okay, check. And I would tell you, because I work with the unconscious mind, and your unconscious is like going to totally protect you, and it's going to keep on protecting you in ways that you're not aware of, like pushing people away, not responding appropriately, and you won't even know you're doing it. So slow down and know you're doing it. And as you realize you're keeping this wall caution up, say to yourself, hey, I'm going to keep my caution until I have learned what I need to learn. Thank you very much. So isn't that interesting? And when you're pulling away from this love and this hurt that you've had, let me tell you what you're doing. You're replaying things in your head over and over and over and over and over, and of what it could have been if we would have, if he did, I should have just. And the reason you're doing that, again, is that your unconscious is trying to never let that happen again. So sit down and be mindful of what you learned. Blah, blah, blah. I know. I hate that. When they say, well, what did you learn from your trial? What did you learn? I don't want to tell you what I learned. I'm not learning anything. Well, what did you learn? Oh, gosh, I hate that. But here's the truth. It's true. There is a lesson here. So, did you learn to stop? This is what I did. I was creating him to be something he wasn't. Did you learn to stop creating him? Yeah, I learned to not do that again. I'm not going to create a next guy into being something that they're not. Yeah, that was horrible. Let me ask you this, because I've had millions of clients with the same similar issues. Did you learn to not give yourself up anymore? Yep, probably. You gave your love, but you gave yourself up? Okay, so you're not going to be doing that again, are you? Aha, okay. Did you idolize him or her too much and they let you down? Write that down if that's the case. What did you learn? What aren't you going to do again? And state it. And say it out loud and say it with your voice. And when you do, then you'll realize you're on the right track with number 1 out of 3. What did you learn and what aren't you doing again? Write them down and really go over and over and over it until you've got your 3 to 5 things you're not doing again. I love it. Logically, this is all making sense. Number 2. Okay. If we're going to love again, number 2, realize you can't love who you don't know. I don't know your neighbor. Sorry. If I knew your neighbor intimately, meaning I know things that are feelings that are precious and important to them, and I get how they feel, and I start caring how your neighbor feels, and I start knowing them because I'm knowing them, then I start loving them as we know them. Your love grows, my love will grow for your neighbor because you start feeling like you care. So number 2, you can't love who you don't know. So if you're thinking, can I love again? You're in a relationship or like I say you even got a new dog or something that you've got to invest in loving again. Get to know them. Get to know them. And I'm going to take a little pause here for a second, or a little parentheses, and tell you that, okay, this is totally divulging. About 10 years ago, my gosh, it seems like yesterday, maybe 8 years ago, I had a dog. I was so connected to Beaumont, little white Maltese. His hair was parted down his back. He was groomed every week. He had a little bow in his hair that matched my outfit, and he followed me everywhere. He sat in my office when I had clients. Anyway, long story is when he died, and he died tragically, and this is beyond the scope of this podcast, but I killed him by slamming him in a door. And wow, that added to all that. Yeah. And the point here that I want to make is it was so bad I went into panic attacks every time I talked to him, thought about him. My husband had to shake me out of it. There's so much to this story I'll do in another podcast, but I shut my heart worse than this last little episode I went through. And I'm just starting to open that up. My heart was so shut. I unloved my husband at the time. I unloved my kids a little bit. It was so weird. And so, this last relationship of my breakup, recently was the first time I opened my heart up again. And then that didn't work because I was betrayed, lied to, and stolen from. Literally. So take a breath, Dr. Darlene, and say, can I do it again? And so I'm with you when you say, no, I'm not doing it. And again, don't do it until you know what you've learned. And so I'm venturing and stepping and I'm walking my talk. I'm doing what I'm telling you to do. I'm attempting to go through these steps myself. What did I learn? Big time I've learned. Can I love someone I don't know? Not so much. So in a new relationship that I'm in, I'm getting to know this person and starting to really, really care how they feel. And now you're going to love number 3. When you put yourself in their place, you start to care how they feel. What's it like to be them? How do they see the world? What makes them tick? What makes them sad? Do you care if they're sad? A good tip for breaking up is to stop caring how someone feels. And we'll talk about that in a minute. So when you go into caring how they're feeling, then you'll start loving them. Pull your heart cords out. You realize you're starting to care. You lived through your last crap. You deserve to go again. I deserve to go again. I deserve all good things. It is so better to love than be loved. Literally. It is. It feels better to love than be loved. So focus on loving, caring, and understanding without expectations of anything coming back. This is really cool. So start to love outward. Love out. And the physics are when you love out and give, it comes back bigger than went out. But, if it doesn't come back, it's okay because you're loving out. You're loving out. I care how you feel. I care how you feel. And if then they care how you feel, yay. But I'm loving outwardly. Interesting 3 steps. 1, again, it's normal to be cautious, but what did you learn and you're not doing again? 2, get to know that person you want to increase your love for. And 3, you lived through it and start loving out and pretending yourself that you are them. I love you. I do. I think I can love you because if you're reaching out to me for this podcast, I can feel you, which helps me know you a little bit. And I can feel your desires and your intent. And the truth is, the more I know you, the more I can really specifically love you. So tell me about yourself in the comments and share your love process stories with me. Let me know if these 3 steps helped you to say, I can love again. I hope this helped, and we'll talk soon. If you like what you've heard, please subscribe to my channel so we can hang out. Also go to www.whatstopsyou.com for notes to this podcast and learn more power skills to indeed live the best years of your life.